Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. It has been a long while. Things keep changing. I mean, this year has been crazy with the amount of changes that we have all experienced. Obviously, me personally and my family and stuff. And I mean, I know I have committed myself and dedicated myself to doing this podcast and providing some value, if any, can to anyone that's listening. And it's also a way for me to kind of express my emotions a bit more, because I realized growing up, I kind of had a bit of more of a diminished response in my expressions and a cortisol response, because of the fact of what happened was so extreme and intense and dramatic. uh, like reacting to any other situation, my body doesn't really see the need to react if it's not on that scale of level of what happened when I was 7 years old. And obviously continuing in other situations, crime and stuff, that was also quite intense. So it's not always easy for me to express feelings and emotions. You don't really see it on my face either. And this is the way I can do it, where I can take the mountain of feelings and emotions I have and uh, articulate it into a podcast episode or a magazine article, just kind of make sense of it. And yeah, so it's kind of like a sounding board also, coupled with the fact that I want to provide value wherever I can, using information out there like science, and trying to tie everything up in a neat little bow to make everything make sense. That was my whole purpose of life anyway, trying to make sense of things. Yeah, so okay, to start off the episode, start off with a quote, an unknown quote. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build in the moments when you think you have nothing left. So it's in this episode is about finding that second gear. It's about digging deep in when you feel that there's nothing left for you to dig into. Like that second gear, to find that to know that there is a second gear firstly, and to find it and to use it. And then you not only survive that survival mode or survival zone, you gone far more beyond that. You can go as far as to be successful, you can go as far as to thrive, but you have to find that second gear first. And everyone has that second gear. It's just a matter of you pushing forward. It's like that meme of the guy that's digging in that tunnel, and he's digging to find gold. And there's two pictures. There's one guy on the top and one guy at the bottom, and they're both digging at the same time. And just as the gold is there, the one guy gets tired and he puts down his spade or his pick, and he takes a walk away because he got tired of looking for it. And the guy at the bottom continued, and he just had to dig a bit more, and he found the gold. And I think that's what we need to hear. I mean, that's what I needed to hear my entire life. That if I keep pushing, if I keep moving, there's something there. And I guess it brings us back to the idea of hope. And from childhood up until now, that's the only thing that can keep me and everyone else moving forward, is the whole idea of hope that we have. No one can give you that idea of hope. You have to create that on your own, to know that there's something beyond that horizon that's there for you. It's that second gear, like I said. It's digging deep when you feel that there's nothing more. It's going, below rock bottom, and knowing from rock bottom there's some type of base or platform that you can launch yourself from. And yes, not everyone is able to find that. Not everyone's able to get there. A lot of people don't even get to rock bottom, but some of us do. And when we're there, it feels like there's no hope. It feels like there's nothing left. But trust me, there is. When you're faced with this type of adversity, and sometimes it feels like everything's happening all at once, which is what it is, you just need to take a breath, distance yourself from the situation, and approach it again with being yourself, with how you've always been with things. That famous Eckhart Tolle quote, "This too shall pass," and it seems become like this corny type of motivation. This too shall pass. Like, I don't want to be in this situation anyway, but I have to think about it in a reframed type of way. This too shall pass, and yeah, it will pass, and it does pass. But you have to want it to pass. You have to want to move on. You want to have that hope, that feeling that there's something else out there, that there's a second gear that you have to continue. And it wasn't always easy for me to get there. And my father committing suicide, or dying by suicide is what the correct terminology is now. And growing up without him, without security support like that. I mean, it's just your parents, one half is not there. So it's always easy to navigate the world that way, because you have to learn from everyone else. You get the nurturing from your mother. Of course I did. And it's one thing that got me by, my grandparents and stuff. But there's one part that's missing. And, that's when I had to always look for that second gear, always find and dig deeper to find something that made me not only get out of survival mode, but to make me be a little bit successful and thrive a bit. And to know that I can get out of this, and there is hope at the end of the horizon. There's that goal at the end of the rainbow kind of situation. And it's not fair, obviously, to, even if whoever's listening are facing that situation where it's always, you feel like it's doom and gloom, but you do get out of it, and you do have those fleeting moments of happiness. Happiness can happen all the time. Others, you won't be able to distinguish between happiness and sadness. However, these hard moments are there to shape you. It's there to create character. It's there to make you understand more things about yourself that you never understood before. It's always the people that are more broken, that have been through a lot, have the strongest characters, have the deepest morals and values, because they've been through stuff. And not only do they have that character, they want to move forward. They want to get out of that situation. They want to build a bridge to the other side, kind of thing. And yeah, that's what we have. That's what we have sometimes. That's what we'll use. And then we build more, and we build more, and we keep building. And with me in particular, where I had to grow up faster than I should have, it always makes you feel like you don't fit in with everyone else, because everyone else your age wants to have fun. It's different. They want to do different things, and you have no inclination to do that. You always get along with older people, because that's where your mentality is. You have to grow up. You have to grow up really fast, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's good sometimes. Sometimes it's obviously bad when you think about it in a dramatic way, but that's just what it is. And maybe it helped me find the second gear faster. Maybe it helped me dig deeper faster. It helped me to know that there's some hope on the horizon a bit faster. And all I have to do is settle down, lock in, and get there. And yeah, not easy. None of the stuff is easy. But we have to try, and if we don't try, then we're giving up way too early. It's like that guy with that, the spade and digging in. And just as you're there at the treasure, you decide to stop. But you work so hard to get there in the first place. Yeah, so, talking about my grandfather again, it's always hard for me to talk about him, because, it happened this year, it passed away this year, and I still can't believe it, and the rest of my family can't believe it either. And I'm not sure if I said this before, but one of the main things that he taught me was resilience. Get up every day and do what you need to do, no matter what's going on around you. He had a tough childhood. Things were hard for him. In South Africa, in general, things were tough. And somehow he did it. He raised a family that's loving, that's strong, that's together, successful. And he did that with being himself. He did that with being resilient and showing us what resilience looked like. He wasn't, I would say, loud in resilience where he'll teach you a lesson, but he would teach you through his actions, and that meant a lot. Those lessons were the loudest. Those were the ones that really was felt by everyone. We showed that you get up every single morning and you go to work, and on the weekend you wake up in the morning, you take care of your family, you buy groceries, you pay the rent, and all those things that people take for granted today, that's how we did things normally. That was the norm. If we didn't do it, we wouldn't have food. We wouldn't have a place to stay. So that was the resilience that I built my character on, watching him go through his life on a normal daily basis. Him and my grandmother, obviously, they did a lot. They did what they could, and they gave us a better footing and gave us a better standing in life. And even as I now go through the next chapter of my life, it's also hard to think that I'm doing it now without him being there. Uh, yeah, it's a sobering reality that us now, if you listen to this and you're young, you're going to be the old person one day in your family, and um, the ones that were there once, you have to know that they have taught you well and they've raised you well enough to be in this position now that you can make decisions for the future generations to come. I've seen that hashtag before, LFG, leading future generations. That is where we are now. We are leading future generations. With every move we make, every lesson we indirectly teach, every decision we make, it's leading future generations to do the same thing or to do better. And my grandfather being in that position where he worked in a factory, he had his hobbies of carpentry, which he did as a business every now and again. He had his hobby of having a farm, which he also did as a business every now and again. And I kind of took that from him too. You have your main source of income, your main job, but you also do other things that can possibly make you money somewhere along the line. And he always told me, find a trade, get a trade. And I went to photography, and obviously I do podcasting. Neither of those things make me money, but it gives me a sense of fulfillment, a sense of purpose, because like how he felt with his farm and, enjoying farming and him putting value out there into the world, giving people fresh fruits and vegetables, which he always talked about. He didn't just talk about him selling it and making money. He wanted to give people fresh fruits and vegetables because to him, and what we know, genetically modified foods are not good for everyone or for anyone. So that's what he wanted. That's where he wanted to add his value, and he did it so nicely. He did it so gracefully, and he did it so in such a with such resilience. And it was nice to watch. It was nice to know that someone in my family has that sense of hard working, and I can work like him. I can work all day, all night sometimes, and not take a break and forget to eat, just like how he did it. And to know that, feel a bit proud and feel a bit closer to my grandfather when I do those things. And it's not just the story of him being strong and him being resilient and me being resilient because of him. There's a lot of science-backed papers, theories that suggest that resilience is the thing that can keep us going and make us successful, get us out of survival mode and help us through survival mode. And there's one in particular called the stress inoculation principle. There's a psychologist called Donald Meichenbaum, where he says exposure to manageable stress builds mental immunity, just like muscles adapt to lifting progressively heavier weights. But also, he says the idea to adjust manageable stress is like basically weightlifting for your stress response in your body. And every time you adjust to stress, you get stronger, you get better. And one day, the one thing that was so stressful for you, that the next day it'll just be like a dot that you're dealing with. Even this whole idea of there's something called the vagal brake, the polyvagal theory, where your nervous system has a built-in reset switch. You can activate it under pressure through slow exhale breathing, grounding, reframing threats as challenges. Instead of saying, oh my God, I'm threatened by this, I can't make it, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, it's hard, it's difficult for me. Reframe it as a challenge. Oh, this is a nice challenge to get through. I'll do challenge 1, I'll do challenge 2, and then I'm done. And I kind of do that sometimes, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this 10-mile run. And 10-mile run sounds daunting. I have to run on the road. I have to make sure my muscles can handle it. Will I be able to do 10 miles in, the time that I said in 2 hours or whatever? And it sounds a bit scary. I'm like, it's fine. I'll go next week. But when I started to reframe it as a challenge, and I put those challenges on apps like Strava, Pacer. Sometimes I use Nike for it. It becomes something manageable, because the word threat sounds scary, but the word challenge sounds like something I can do. And that's how I reframe a lot of things. This is just a challenge. This is just an obstacle. Once you get over the obstacle, because you picture obstacle in your mind, you picture something that you can walk over, step over. A challenge is something like, you watch in, I don't know, Fear Factor or something like those type of game shows. They do those challenges and they move on to the next thing. And you reframe things in your life as a challenge rather than it being a threat, or I'm gonna have to go for this course or this interview or whatever. It's threatening. It's scaring me. It's a challenge. Get all your skills which you have, refine them, ready for that particular challenge, and use those skills for the challenge, and you'll come out on top the next time. Then there's another science-backed, let's say, theory based on dopamine. It's called Grit and Dopamine Regulation by Angela Duckworth. I think Angela Duckworth was on Mel Robbins' show. Mel Robbins, a psychologist. She has a podcast as well. Every time you overcome a difficult task, you get a dopamine reward that reinforces persistence. It's like sometimes sitting in your bed in the morning, you're like, oh, that was a task that I felt like I had less time for. That was nice. Let me go wash the dishes. Let me iron my clothes, or let me make some meal preps for the rest of the week. And every time you do one task like that, it builds you onto the next thing, which makes you feel like a bit confident. Like you rewarded yourself in a way like, oh, that feels nice. And that's what she says about this type of grit and dopamine regulation. Every time you do a task that's neat and tidy and makes you feel nice about yourself, oh, I set my bed, that's nice. And let me do something else. Let me just organize my closet. Let me make sure all my shoes are clean. Let me make sure that the dishes are washed. And you keep doing that all the time. And you regulate your dopamine. You always get that dopamine hit, which we need as human beings. It's important. The next one called the effort override mechanism. This is study shows humans routinely underestimate their physical and mental capacity by 40%. David Goggins spoke about this before too. It's called the 40% rule. Your brain is designed to protect you, not push you, but you can override it. So David Goggins said, when you feel that you're completely done, you can't make it anymore, you want to stop running, you want to go home or whatever, that's when you are only 40% done. You still have 60% more to go. And so I've tried that once. I tried that when I think I was running, I don't know what 13 miles or whatever. And I reached about 10 and a half miles and I was like, oh, I can't make it. It's getting dark. I can't make it. I'm a bit tired. I just finished my last energy gel. Should I just take a walk and go back home and finish this off? Whatever, it's fine. 10 and a half miles is good enough. I can go back next day. And then I remember what Dave Goggins said at the time, and he's like, when you feel like that in particular, you're 40% done. Let's push again and see if there's 60% more left. And yeah, then I found out that there was a bit more. And I continued running. I finished my 30.1 miles and I had enough energy afterwards. Took a cool down walk back home, and I was fine. I've done a lot of other things too. Doing my normal work. If I'm walking, if I'm doing anything in the house, and I was like, oh, this is so tiring. Let me just be done with it. And I'm like, wait, this means I'm only 40% done. And then I continue. So it's a nice mechanism. It's called the effort override mechanism. It's a nice mechanism to override, to know that you have a bit more in the tank than you think you do. Yeah, so that was the last one I wanted, the micro promise rule. It says, and this is what you can do for yourself, make one tiny commitment you will not break. Example, 2 minutes of stretching. That's easy to do. It's 2 minutes. 1 page of reading. Because each fulfillment strengthens your self-trust, foundation, and resilience. You have to be able to trust yourself. Before you can trust anyone else, you have to be able to trust yourself. So if you say, I'm going to be doing every day 10 kilometers of running, and you've never done running before, that's a huge ask for your body. Your mind is not going to be there. Your body's not going to handle. Your muscles won't know what to do, and it'll just say no, and you'll stop, and you'll feel bad about yourself. But if you say, I'm going to go out the yard and walk for 2 minutes. 2 minutes only. And you complete that. That's a grit and dopamine release again. You're like, oh, okay. Maybe I can go for 5 minutes because I do have time now. The 5 minutes might turn into 10 minutes. That feels nice. Tomorrow I won't just go into the yard. I'll go down the road and come back up the road. And you keep rewarding yourself that way. It's this promise that you're keeping to yourself, and you're fulfilling that promise. It's like how nice it feels when someone keeps a promise to you. How much better would it feel if you keep the promise to yourself? So it's a nice way to show yourself that you can be trusted by yourself. And every day, those small micro promises that you keep, 2 minutes of stretching, 5 minutes of walking, 1 hour of movement, fitness, will build up. And if you do that for 3 months, you do that for 6 months, you do that for a year, you've built up your body in such a way. There's mind-muscle connection. Your good feel-good hormones are being released. Resilience is taking place, and you don't even realize it, but it is happening. And you realize, wait, where was I last year? I couldn't get off the couch. Now I'm running 5K every day. That's exactly where I was, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. So it is possible. You just need to get yourself out there, one tiny step at a time. And yeah, that brings us to the end of our episode today. If you've liked this episode, please don't forget to like and comment here on Spotify, and let me know if you want to hear anything more. I do have a lot more things to share with you. I'm going through a whole new chapter of my life now. I'll be sharing a lot more, be talking a lot more resilience, talking a lot more about trauma to get over it. Got history of my family being, dying young. My father, suicide. I lost my grandfather when I was 6 years old, the year after I lost my father. And I was an adult, 2025, I lost my grandfather about 7 or 8 months ago. And that was the worst thing that could have happened to me as an adult. But using the idea of resilience, using what my grandfather has taught me all these years, doing everything I can in his name, makes me feel better, makes me know that I can move forward with his blessing, know that he's there with me all the time. Even now, listening, he knew about my podcast, he knew about what I was doing, and I knew that he was always proud of me. I knew that he never totally understood it, but he was just happy that, I was there doing things. Yeah, so that's the episode. Thank you so much for listening to me rant at first and trying to be consistent. And I'll try and keep this promise to myself more often. See you in the next one.